You're the next big shot instructor. You've prepared your courses and they're live on Udemy. Naturally, you're expecting this, which would be incorrect. It's something a little bit more like this. You'll soon learn that an instructor share greater than roughly $4 is equivalent to a cash register, else it's equivalent to
Hi everyone, my name is Matthew, and in this video I want to have a look at the average instructor share on Udemy when you get an enrollment. So I'll use the data from August 17 to up to December 20 to try and have a look at this. So what we could do first of all is we could take the number that I got from this video, which is how much money I earned on Udemy, which is $9,518.57, and divide that by the total number of students that I got during that period. That would then give us a number which is $3.84, which sounds quite low, but I think I picked up on this in one of my other videos where you get a small share depending on if you participate in some of Udemy's programs, so the Deals program and the Marketing Boost, where you get a 50% share on the Deals program and a 25% share on the Marketing Boost program. So this is probably partly why some of the figures seem quite low, but it is typical, and I think you'd find that same information from other instructors too. The problem with this calculation is that it's probably a bit too coarse, because things you've got to realize is that things might change over time, so the proportions of the Marketing Boost program to the Deals program, but also the fact that you might get some other countries cropping up, so there might be higher tax rates you have to pay, or the lowest price which can be sold in another country is lower than, say, the US or the UK, for example. You've also got to consider that some of these enrollments might actually be freebies, so it's actually giving you false information and it will be a lower representation of what you'd actually get. To actually answer this question in a bit more detail and see if anything's changing over time, what I've done is I've broken everything down and I've done the average instructor share per quarter for each of the different courses, so we can see how all the different courses work with each other. And you can see that on this chart here. I think something that's quite obvious when you look at this chart is that there seems to be some form of gentle decline in the instructor share per quarter. Furthermore, it's quite nice to see that the statics and mechanics course and the thermodynamics course seem to follow each other over the quarters quite closely. It's quite good that they line up, and particularly when the prototyping course comes in too. So where it's at $0, that's because the course wasn't released, and then in that quarter 4 it was suddenly released. I think this is probably reasonably reliable data to use, assuming that you don't have any instructor share coming from your own promotions. So this is, I think, probably quite a realistic average instructor share you could assume if you just started out as well. So it's obviously maybe slightly worrying where we're going down from around an average of $4.20 in quarter 2, the very first points, down to around $3.45 in quarter 3 at the end. So there is some form of decline. Whether that's something that will continue is obviously unknown. Hopefully not. But it is still, I think, a reasonable share at $3.45 to be receiving. So when enrollments actually come through, you do see some of them coming through at $5, $6, but then there are some as low as sort of $1.50, typically is the kind of range I expect. So they all average out to be around the $3 to $4 mark. So you might then be wondering, well, why does it look like the average instructor share seems to be declining a little bit? And I think partly what that is the Marketing Boost program, and potentially that more of the sales are coming through those avenues rather than the Udemy organic traffic. So on this chart here, you can see potentially that effect coming into play. So I think this chart where we've got the Marketing Boost program as a proportion of the total revenue per quarter, slowly it is increasing. So we start at 17% and slowly sort of go up, and there's a few little knocks down, but the general trend is going up, and it's going up to close to 40%. That is certainly going to be reducing the instructor share, because in these sales, shown in these bars, Udemy takes a 75% share rather than a 50% share, which you receive through the normal Deals program. Is it going to keep on going? Is it going to keep on declining? Is there going to be a point where it stops and levels out? Or am I going to be sort of expecting, in maybe 5 years' time, $1 or $2 per enrollment, which you might start to think, well, is this really worth it anymore? For me, I think it probably is worth it still, there is certainly a few $1,000s per year which can still be earned through these courses, and that only adds up with further courses. So for me, I personally think it's worth it. If you have an audience where you can drive traffic to it, your instructor share will be far greater than what I'm showing in here, I think, especially if you've got a large majority of your sales coming through instructor promos. I hope that's provided some useful information, and thank you. I'll see you in the next video.